Mark, what are you reading? Nice ad on the back of that, by the way.
It is. I'm trying to make sense of everything that happened in this book. It all just went down.
There's a lot of stuff that happened in this book. We're going to talk all about all of it right after this. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you're alerted whenever we upload new content. We have just a single issue this week. It is Absolute Green Lantern number 4. We are yesterday last week, so we're done with that. So now we're back into the Absolute Universe before we get to our next DC Universe major crossover, which is supposed to happen this fall, I believe, unless we decide to do the Legion stuff, but that's we'll talk about that later.
That's just inside the Superman, so I don't think they're gonna make it too big.
Yeah,
we'll definitely have to at least mention it, kind of like what we did with the with their appearances,
right,
in the back. Because it's only gonna be like what, 3 issues or something like that.
Yeah, yep.
But we gotta keep up.
We do. And it's funny because this whole issue basically brings us back to the beginning of the whole story,
while moving the plot wildly forward.
Exactly.
So many places to go. It starts off very ambiguous. It doesn't make a lot of sense, like this entity, this power. It's been shown and represented as this circle. It's actually featured on the cover around Abin Sur, but we don't know what to make of this circle yet. But we just get 4 panels with that circle, and it's just a voice. You don't see where it's coming from. You just hear a voice that says, "Hal Jordan, judgment was made, but penance can be ... Then you see like this orange light coming into the black, and it says penance. So I don't know if this is the same voice, meant to be 2 voices, meant to be Hal, but that second voice with the orange overtaking the black takes over and does all the talking from there. Up until now, when we've seen this black circle, when we've seen the just the words, it's almost like the entity that's taken over Hal, Joe. It's like the power, the green flame or the black hand. It's like that speaking to you in your mind. But now this orange is clearly a different something that's overtaking that, and it's reshaping it into a dark heart, which goes into the Black Star, kind of goes into the Green Lantern lore. But it says, "You were right, you were right, you are always right. The truth is there for all to see. God is not a ring of light. God is a big black zero. The dark circle around everything, and inside that circle is a single black star. Be the Black Star, Hal." So I have no clue what's going on with that yet. That's going to come later, but something's changing in Hal.
Right, and then we switch to, we see Joe talking to Hal, telling him to try to control it. Hal is obviously having a very difficult time controlling it because, once again, he lashes out at Joe with this huge black hand trying to grab her.
Yeah.
And then
they're on the edge of town just reluctantly fighting it out, and this thing is completely overtaking him at this point, covering him up. He's got like this construct body of corruption. It looks very Resident Evil-esque. Mm-hmm. What happened to Evergreen, Joe? So we flash back to Evergreen.
Right. Which is good because we don't get that. This comic doesn't give us the then and now type thing. We're just expected to follow it.
But they do need to add the then and now, because we both learned this week that this book has become confusing to some because it doesn't say then and now. If it did, it could help with that confusion.
That's true. We see Joe talking about all the different people that have disappeared. We've got the first mention of Kyle, I believe, in this as well. And basically, they're just talking about what's happened so far to this point, and Joe just decides that she's had enough. She's going to go right to the source, for lack of a better term, and she calls out Abin Sur.
Because we found out that at this point, these are the last 3 people in the town: Todd, Joe, and Hal. And we know that Hal has fastened that bullet of gold because we found out that the gold can penetrate the emerald barrier around Abin. The green is susceptible to gold. So they found out that Abin's going around judging everyone in the town, and they're all dead. And now it's just down to them. So what do they have to lose? We're going to take this shot on Abin. And Joe said, no, I'm going to go confront this SOB first. And she walks out there and says, why? Why did you kill them all? And Abin is visually like mad. He's troubled. He's disturbed that she would assume such a thing of him, even though we, the reader, then the town people have watched him kill all these people. He's like, what?
Right. He basically says, okay, look, a couple people are dead, but that's their own fault because,
That's not
one of them ran into the barrier. That's not my fault. Another one got shot because it ricocheted off me and it hit them, and it's like, that's another person dead. All these other people you're talking about, by the way, they're not dead.
No, where are they?
They're on Oa.
Woo!
Or obviously they're in Oa, I believe.
In Oa. So he's been judging them, and we see this swirling ball of light. She says, I watch you disintegrate him. And he's like, disintegrate people? Nah, atomize them? That's kind of like, that's child's play. We can atomize, we can put them back together, we can transport them. They're in Oa right now. They're going through judgment. They're fine. And they're like, what in the world is happening? Like she said, you disintegrated them. He's like, yeah, no big deal. They exist in Oa. They are within the Omega Alpha. They are in the second stage, and judgment remains in progress. Hal's getting restless in his boots, and the black hand of corruption is coming over him while Joe's talking to him. And fear the weaponers of Quord, the voice in Hal's head said. Again, it's orange now with the black circle. Now we've got like the dark heart where they're mentioning Quord. Like we're getting so much like DC cosmic stuff now, like mentioned. Ultimately, her trying to talk to Abin, get more understanding, gets interrupted by a flashback or a flash forward. I'm sorry. Back to Hal and Joe out in the desert asking, what happened, Joe? What happened to Evergreen? You want me to keep going?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, so Joe's like telling him to stop. You don't just stop, leave. You saw what happened. He was doing that thing he did, going unsolid. So basically, we're getting this interaction with Abin and Joe, and clearly something happened to the town. And it cuts back to her, and Abin was about to teleport back out of there, and she wanted more answers. So she reached out as he was about to teleport, trying to stop him, but she's wearing her gold wedding band. And by reaching out to him, she unintentionally caused a massive harm moment. She penetrated him. Pause. She basically stabbed his chest,
right,
causing grave harm to him. Like she's now in the Emerald Flame. You see flashes of the Dark Heart there. You see Tomar Ray right there. You got Sinestro's eye. You get a flash of what has been, what's going to be. We're not sure yet, but page of lore just explodes while Abin ultimately is seemingly dying. It looks like
he screams anomaly.
And she says anomaly, and she looks at herself, and she's flamed on with the green flame. But unfortunately, the giant
lantern,
like, is it a spaceship? Is it a lantern? Is it a traveling power battery that he charged him? We don't know. But the giant physical monolith that's shaped like the Green Lantern symbol, power goes out and it falls to Earth. So with Abin getting mortally wounded, it shuts out and it falls to Earth, landing, creating like a massive explosion right over Evergreen. Now, we know that the town was pretty much empty of people, so I don't know why Hal's tripping so hard. It was just Todd, Hal, and her, but it's where it landed. And now the dome's down, the explosion was recognized, the news people are coming, and not just the news people, some rich elite is coming who's coming to inspect things. He has his own version of a Mercy Graves-esque assistant talking to him about, like, well, everything's in order, blah, blah, blah. We talked to Lazarus. The Lazarus Corp's a little busy. They got stuff going on right now. We'll handle this. We know what's happening. We read Superman. But he gets out of the helicopter and says, to be continued, Hector Hammond. So we got to mention to Kyle. We got talking to Todd in here. We don't know if Todd's alive or dead. We found out that John and Guy are still alive inside of Oa. We figured out that Sinestro exists. Tomorrow Ray is here. Hector Hammond shows up. The Dark Star stuff is teased. Quord is mentioned. This was a major issue.
Yeah. And we're right back to the first opening scene of issue 1, where we saw the lantern had landed and everything. So we started there. We took 3 issues or 4 issues to flashback to find out how we got to that. and now we're back to the beginning again with, like you said, and the Lazarus Corporation seems to have their hands in a lot of stuff. It's mentioned in Flash, obviously mentioned in Superman, now it's mentioned here. So they're definitely weaving those threads to try and tie them, at least, you know, in a tertiary way anyway. So
Yeah. Yeah. Great issue.
yeah,
Great
absolutely.
issue. I was telling Paul as soon as I read it, this has easily moved up to the number 2 slot. Like, that's what's fun about these Absolute books. They change rankings week by week as these stories flush out. Different writers, different visions, different story structures. So they have different issues where they really just land and put the whole run together, have those oh dang moments. This was the oh dang moment for the Absolute Green Lantern, issue number 4. If you started this series, do yourself a favor, go back and at least read to issue 4 and see how you feel after this one. That's really, I think, would be the make or break. If you like what they're doing, you're going to want to see more. If you're not feeling it, you'd have given it an honest shot.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, can't say enough good things. Al Ewing for his, well, I guess it's his second thing because he wrote Metamorpho, but
Oh,
the first issue was good.
dude, I really enjoy Metamorpho as a character, but
Yeah,
he leaned too hard into the attempting to Silver Age trope it. Like, it was just,
yeah,
what a
exactly.
chore.
But he's knocking it out here, so
Yeah.
doing
This
really
reminds
well.
me of We Only Find Them When They're Dead. You know, the Cosmic
Mhm.
Space book he did. I loved that. I was all on board with that. He did that with Simone DeMeo. Like, man, it'd been cool if they got Simone DeMeo to do the art for this.
Yeah, that
It
would
would
have
have
been good.
fit really well.
Yeah. But yeah, that's gonna be it. I think do we have Absolute Batman again next week, or
Oh, I don't have a clue.
okay. And I don't recall either. So, but we'll be here to cover it all. I promise you. But that's going to be it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, leave a comment, hit the notification bell, all of those good things. But that's going to be it for this edition of DC Comics Deep Dive. I am Paul. He is Mark,
We're Legion.
and you're now leaving Sector 2815.